It's the final day of the Premier League season. Sun is beating down, birds are singing, Arsenal praying that West Ham get a result. I mean, the irony, you know what I mean? The irony of a club that have been giving us so much stick. Not a club, the fan base, so much stick over the last year. We had it all last summer over the Rice stuff. We've had it all year. I mean, we've really had it in the neck from Arsenal fans, a fair amount. All right, we've given some back, of course, but my word, it's quite amusing that it falls down to Arsenal now desperately needing West Ham to do them a favour against Man City, against a side as well, City, that have just been so good again. Considering really, when you look at them, they've not really been 100% this season. They've not really got, when you consider the City teams that we've seen over the last few years, I wouldn't say this is the best. And the fact that they just still managed to get themselves into this position and it's just so dominant, just relentless run of games of winning. It's unbelievable, really, how well that club is structured, how well they're doing. Let's talk about them first. Let's talk about City. We'll talk about West Ham. And then we'll talk about the predictions and team and stuff. As I always do, by the way, get your own predictions in. Get your predictions what you think this game's going to be. If you get the result right, you get into the draw and you can win something from our shop for free. So you might as well do so. It's free to do so. And also, if you're not a subscriber, click subscribe. It's free to do so. And we have got a huge summer coming up, West Ham, right, on this channel. We've got bits. I'm going to announce them this week, actually, some bits and pieces. But I've been listening to your comments. I asked a couple of months ago about fans to provide some ideas for what they'd like to see. So we're going to put them in place for next season. That's going to involve live shows as well to get fans interacting and things like that. It's going to be, we've got loads of bits coming up. So yeah, but if you're not a subscriber, just click it. It's free to do so. So why not? It does help the channel out. Let's go on to Man City then. So, I mean, it's hard really. I'm parking, by the way, these 115 charges things at the moment, right? I get that is a big cloud hanging over that club at the moment, and I think this one they really need to get sorted out. And I think it's next year, isn't it? There's going to be some sort of resolution to it. Where we don't know we don't even know what it's going to be. Whether they're going to be punished, what the punishment is going to be, how it's looking. It's a really complex case. But that aside, if you kind of park all of that, when you just look at that club and how well run it is, I mean, their recruitment is just absolutely spot on. The managers, the best in the world. They just seem to have everything completely correct when it comes to the football side of things. They are so sharp and a juggernaut of a club. They are just relentless. They're so good. And as I say, even in a season where they've not been at their best, even Haaland to be, not been at his best, they've had De Bruyne out injured. And I remember it was probably halfway through the season when you're thinking, when is City going to get really going? When are they going to completely start dominating? And even though they've had this period now, which they tend to have every year, don't they, where they get into the sort of second half, final third of the season, and they just completely dominate. They win. They're just so relentless at it. I've not been that convinced. Do you know what I mean? I've not looked at them and thought this is the City where they just walk through teams without thinking about them. Even if you look at the Spurs result, yes, they won. This is what I'm saying. They beat Spurs. They weren't their best. They looked nervy, actually, City, which is out of character for them. Look quite nervous. And they just haven't been their best, but yet they're still the best in the league. As far as I'm concerned, they're still the best in this league. And it's remarkable, an unbelievable job that Guardiola's done there. And I do actually feel for City sometimes in terms of, the label that they sort of buy success. That's all they've done. They've just went out and bought all the success. And look, of course, the money is the key reason that they are where they are. Of course it is. But people talk about it as if they're the only club with any money and they're the only club that go and spend money during transfer windows. It's just not true, is it? You look at Manchester United, look at Chelsea, the amount of money these clubs have spent far outweighing what City have spent in recent times. And yet they're nowhere near that level, nowhere near them. City are very, very good. So good at pinpointing the right players and just getting their spot on. And it's not even that, you get the feeling like backroom staff is right and the people at the sort of the director levels are spot on. They're just very, very good. And unbelievable side. And obviously, you got to admire it, really. As I say, I am parking these charges aside, of course. That is the elephant in the room, isn't it? This 115 charges. It's still hanging over them, and it's going to be. Unfortunately, now what it's doing for that football club, it's just a cloud that's going to be there. It's over them now. Even if they are successful today and lift the Premier League title, it's like there's a slight taint to it. You know what I mean? It's not a good look, and it's a shame that is where it is for them and football really. It'd be nice to get this resolved as soon as possible, and just whatever it may be. Whether are they going to be fined, relegated? Are they going to be stripped of titles? Just don't know. City are fighting this with the best lawyers in the world, aren't they? So it's not going to be easy. You feel like it's going to be a very complex situation, and it's kind of proving so, isn't it? Because it's just dragging on and on. Before I talk about the players, though, I'll just Pep Guardiola. I mean, such a talent, isn't he? As a manager, he's just done so well wherever he's gone, and I'm a huge admirer of him. I don't think there's many that are not really. He's just exceptionally gifted guy when it comes to football and his philosophy of football. It's just a joy to watch, really. And when he does lead to part of the Premier League, he really has been had a huge impact. Obviously, Klopp's leaving this year. You don't know how much longer Guardiola's got. I'm not quite sure. He's kind of, if you look at his stints where he's been at other clubs, obviously Barcelona and Bayern Munich, he has like a period, doesn't he, where then he works for an intense few years, does his job, wins as much as he can, and then he has a bit of a period off and then thinks about his next move and his next challenge. So, but they've been very fortunate to have that manager because he has been, and the Premier League has really as well, because he's just been amazing, isn't he? And the football they play is exceptional. It really is. When they're at it, they are just a joy to watch, unless you're on the receiving end of it. But is that going to count today? I don't know. We'll come to that in a minute. We'll talk about West Ham. Players, I mean, Phil Foden, player of the season, and fully deserved. Just a stunning player. And I love the fact he's English. Do you know what I mean? He is just a joy, like a City, just a joy to watch, an unbelievable footballer. And it's great to see him in this kind of form now going into the Euros. I mean, he's going to be a key role for England and hopefully can get us over the line because, I mean, he's got it in him. He's been outstanding this season. Kevin De Bruyne as well. I mean, these are also like these standard classic City players that come to mind, but they've got so many. It's ridiculous. But De Bruyne, been out injured. He got injured on the first game of the season. He was out for a period and quite an extensive period. And I remember him coming back, and I've forgotten the game it actually was when he came back. And he was just like he'd never been away. Looked fit. He looked in form. His touch was exceptional. And I think he might have even scored. It was just a stunning footballer. And this is my point when I talk about Man City and their recruitment. I mean, they went and bought him from Wolfsburg. Obviously, he didn't do well at Chelsea, and that wasn't down to him, as far as I understand it. I think it was more of a Jose Mourinho thing, I think, at the time. But went to Wolfsburg, did a decent job. But I remember him spending the money. You remember Paul Merson, Mr. Paul Merson, that's been spending the last few weeks slagging off West Ham fans. And I remember once upon a time him saying it was an absolute waste of money. De Bruyne was going to flop. I mean, well, he's proven so wrong there. By the way, I like Paul Merson as a person. I do, but I don't like the way he's been attacking West Ham recently at all. Actually, been really found it disrespectful actually from him. But going off topic here. You look at Man City and they're just an abundance of talent, have they? And they buy really well. Nathan Ake, another one bought from Bournemouth, and you think, okay, how's he going to get on there? Been brilliant for them. They have got some outstanding players. And Rodri, I have to touch on before we go. I mean, there's always been that comparison, isn't there, with Declan Rice and Rodri. Obviously, we've been in the firm thick of it with West Ham fans, obviously, before Declan departed. But he is outstanding. When he's playing for City, they are just a different beast. They look so more well drilled, more comfortable, and just assured of what they're doing. That's outstanding player, team, manager. I'm just in awe of them, really. But let's go on to West Ham now. I mean, that's why we're here, isn't it? It's all about West Ham. 9th is where we're finishing this season. It's disappointing. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not, it could have been worse, of course. Last season, we won a trophy, but we were in a relegation battle season. We haven't flirted at all relegation this season, so I'm really pleased about that. But we've thrown it away this season. We have thrown it away big time in what we could have achieved. I can't, look at this season and go, God, it's been brilliant. It hasn't. It could have been. It really could have been. European football really should have been achieved, as far as I'm concerned. I think we've cocked up big time. We've thrown some games away in recent weeks that have just totally destroyed what we were trying to achieve. And I blame the club. I blame the manager. I blame what we're doing in January. I always will. I think we are shocking. As a football club in January, we're crap. And we have paid the price again for another absolutely crap transfer window. And we are where we are. But we've got a new era we're about to embark on. David Moyes' final game today as West Ham manager. Look, I know there are fans out there absolutely despise David Moyes. Every time I try and be complimentary towards him, I get attacked for it. I don't really care. Look, at the end of the day, I'm with you in terms of I'm frustrated with David Moyes. It is definitely the right time for a change. I'm really excited the fact we're changing manager. Well, getting a new head coach in, whatever you want to call it. I really am. I think it's a great step forward for the club. I'm excited about it. But I'll always be grateful to Moyes. I will, because these have been the best years of my life as a West Ham fan. So he will go away. I think he can go away with his head held high. He's done well at the club, and fair play to him, and I wish him farewell. And I hope he goes on to do well wherever he goes. You know what I mean? I don't know what that's going to be. Talk Sport, I think, is the first place he's going. But, I mean, whether he's going to be a manager, you imagine he will. I mean, he's obviously not going to be a top 6, top big club. I just don't see it. I think he'll be more of a rescue mission manager at the moment. He even flirted with the idea. I'll talk about it later in the week, Moisey, but he flirted with the idea of coming back, didn't he, for a third time? I won't rule it out. It was a bit, yeah, anyway. We've got a few. I think we've got basically a fully fit squad today. We've got Nigel and Mavropanos are both available. I think, as far as I understand, I think Nagurd's probably possibly played last game for the club. Whether he's played today, I don't know. I imagine it'd be Mavropanos and Zuma. That's my gut feeling. It'd be a back line. Some interesting things today. You've got Lucas Paqueta possibly playing his last game for the club. I think it's highly likely he will be leaving this summer. Man City, of course, the most likely destination. It's depending on his own bloody problems. You know, Man City got their own ones, but Paqueta's got his in terms of this betting allegation stuff. That needs to get resolved. But I've been pleased with Paqueta overall. I think he's been a good signing for us. He's a quality player. We know that. He can go missing at times. I think at times he can become quite frustrating. Frustrated. You watch him, you can see he gets very angry. He doesn't seem quite himself. But if West Ham can get the deal right and invest the money wisely, should we do sell Paqueta? By the way, it's not guaranteed he's going. I've spoken to X about this. That's certainly not a guarantee. It's likely, but it's not guaranteed he will go. So, but if he does go, as long as we invest it wisely and bring in the players that we can that can fill in that void, and we want a younger squad, don't we? We need a new fresh look to this side, and if we're going to be investing heavily, I think a 90 million quid coming in for Paqueta won't hurt at all. So if it is his last game, then I've had nothing but fond memories of Paqueta. Really, he's just been a joy to watch as a West Ham player. Just want to touch on Mikel Antonio's comments actually as well this week regarding. I mean, he's been in great form since he's come back from injury. I've been really impressed with him, but quite sad to hear his comments about how low his mental health, how his mental health was and how he suffered. We talked about it a little bit on this channel. I never really wanted to talk about it publicly because it was, as far as I understood, it was quite private, and I knew about it from obviously X and stuff regarding his divorce and stuff. And it was sad to hear that, and you can see it's affected him quite badly. And for him to say that he was hoping for an injury and stuff, I mean, whether that's because he was just overplayed or whatever, but it's just sad to hear that he's mental health awareness. And the reason I'm talking about this is because it's Mental Health Awareness Week in the nation at the moment, and it is a big subject. It's something, it's really important. So everyone that's watching this, to you, if you ever feel like you need to talk, right, and you've got no one to talk to and you feel embarrassed, just drop West Ham an email, just drop us a line, contact me on Twitter or anything like that. I'm always available to speak to. And I know that these things can get really tough at times and you do feel very alone. I've certainly been there myself, and you can feel like you've got no one to talk to. You can talk to people, do you know what I mean? And so yeah, just wanted to touch on that. Let's talk about the team then and do the predictions. I mean, this is my team, what I expect. I would be picking, and what I'm kind of expecting this to be the team anyway, to be honest, but this is what I'm going to go with. Areola in goal, Soufal at right back. I'm going to have Mavropanos and Zuma as the central defenders, with Emerson playing left back. Kind of standard, really. Assuming Mavropanos is available, which I believe he is. Alvarez and Souček as the midfield. Lucas Paqueta playing ahead of them through the middle. I'll then have Jared Bowen on the right, Mohamed Kudus on the left, and Mikel Antonio up front. I want to see the youngsters play, though. I do want to see I don't see why not at the end of the day. Lewis Orford, Caelan Casey, George Urphy, Ollie Scholes. I want to see these players involved. I really do. Marshall as well. Get them out there. Do you know what I mean? Get the young boys out there today. Why not? I mean, the pressure is off. It doesn't matter. Whatever happens today, in terms of a West Ham point of view, means nothing. A loss, whatever. We don't go any lower. Can't go any higher. It's anything. It's more for pride. It's a really weird one, isn't it? A really weird one, because of course, you always want to see West Ham do well. Of course you do. You're a West Ham fan. You want to see West Ham do well. Especially if you've got a big game like this, going away Man City. West Ham going to get a result at City. It'd be amazing. But to help Arsenal win the title, oh, dearie me. I mean, it's It's tough, isn't it? That is really tough. And as I say, the irony of it all. Arsenal wanting West Ham to his favour. I've gone 3-1 City, by the way. That's my prediction. I want to know what yours is. And I want to know your thoughts on this game today, because this is a bloody unique one. But it's always West Ham, don't you find? It's always like, it's typical to be us that has to be the team that's going to have to play a big part in the title race. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird one. I don't think we're going to win. And to be honest with you, if it means, if it means that we're going to stop Arsenal winning the title, I've got no real problem with that, because at the end of the day, it's Arsenal, London rival, Declan Rice and all that. I'm really not interested in doing them any favours, to be honest with you. But at the same time, West Ham, you just know, you've got this feast. It would be typical, wouldn't it, that today we go and put in a bloody good performance.